Hi there, welcome back to our Legacy League with Stacks. This is round 4 now. We just lost to the 8th Thalia deck, which was rather upsetting. Mistake in game 1 and then just a little bit behind in game 2, even though we're on the play. This looks like a pretty good hand. I don't know what we're playing against, but we'll keep this and we're on the play. So probably want to play our Russian Port first. No, maybe Tomb, Ratchet Bomb, just to get stuff out there, see what's going on, have an answer to early delvers. Danny 718 doesn't seem to have any. Reveal Chancellor of the Annex. Okay. So we definitely want to play our Ratchet Bomb and get it countered then. So we can play our turn 2 Ensnaring Bridge or our turn 2 Tangle Wire, and then we can start wastelanding them off stuff and hopefully not die. Ratchet Bomb is not really good in this matchup. So let's just take our beats while we can. No, I don't want to pay, rather unfortunately. So the object of the game now is to land one of these 2 spells and hope we don't face down a turn 1 Spheres of Insanity. Grizzlebrand's fine. Have beaten turn 1 Sire from this deck before by just drawing into lands and Lodestone Golem, blocking and then getting there, or in the Ensnaring Bridge. So hopefully we'll be alright, but it's a bit nerve-wracking. There is a Sire in their graveyard. So this is where we play the Inventor's Fair and the Ensnaring Bridge. So this should be good enough for us game 1. This is I'm assuming that we're just going to get a Sire out. That's why I didn't play the Wasteland or Russian Port. Another line would have been to play the Port, and then we can next turn Wasteland them and tap them down under protection of our bridge. But we had to get the bridge out now, and my assumption is that we're going to be sired or chancellored now, and we need to therefore, if we're getting sired, have the Inventor's Fair so we can gain some life back and we can use it to fetch up stuff later on in the game if we have no cards in hand. So our opponent is a bit he's thinking a lot about this one. So Spheres of Insanity, for those of you who don't know, at the beginning of each end step, each player discards his or her hand. That's not really a problem for a Reanimator deck that's got 2 lands and has Reanimate spell that cost 1, and they can discard all their useful cards. The Chancellor is less of a problem for us because we're going to be making lots of mana ourselves. Now this looks like a Tidespout Tyrant. This is problematic for us. We can't really beat this card, unfortunately. We just have to run out as many permanents as we can, try and don't have any mana. So next turn will be something like, now wishing we played the Wasteland over the Inventor's Fair, so we could play draw 2 mana and play the Lodestone Golem and Wasteland. So animate on the Tyrant. We're going to have to just hope for a bit of luck now. So Chalice of the Void is fine. So the question now becomes, how do we stop them beating us? They've only got 3 cards in hand. The Tyrant can bounce lots of things. We need to stop them casting spells with 1 and 0. Obviously, they still get the trigger off their Tyrant, and when they cast it, it just gets countered. So our priority now is to get them off mana. So I'm going to suggest playing the Port and the Tangle Wire, and then our next turn we tap down our Bridge, our Tangle Wire and our Tomb, we wasteland them, and then we port them. The hope is here that we don't die to Tyrant attacking. Other options would be Port and Lodestone, or wasteland them now and play Tangle Wire, but this has 4 counters on, so their lands are used up. They don't have too much instant speed other than in Tomb and Lotus Petals. So maybe we want to put a Chalice on 0 as well, so we can counter the Lotus Petals so they can't cast spells, and we get 2 triggers off the Tyrant. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So Chalice on 0, Tangle Wire, and a Rishton Ports. Or Chalice on 0, Tangle Wire, and a Wasteland. And the Wasteland allows us to, if we draw a 2-mana source at turn, we can play the Port, Wasteland them, and play the Lodestone. So we're not going to Port or Wasteland them now. Okay, so let's do this. We're mostly worried now about a Griselbrand drawing them into more cards, you see, so we need to stop them doing something like that. So play this Wasteland, this Chalice. So if we restrict their mana, they can't cast any spells, and we should be alright. That's what we needed. So we tap things down, we fade, and we always yield to our Inventor's Fair. So let's tap things down. Nice thing about playing Chalice on 0 is we can tap down those 3 cards there. Okay, this is good for us. So Wasteland on the Badlands, Lodestone Golem, follow that up with Rishton Port, and then we can play a Sphere the turn after. That should lock them out of the game. If they draw enough running lands, then we'll have a problem, and they can start bouncing things at opportune moments so they can attack. But our Tangle Wires will keep them tapped down should we have to worry about that. Okay, this is good. So, there we go. Another lodestone is fine. Now they can't cast their spells. We can draw up to Ensnaring Bridge, swing in, and then play a spell. Looks like their plan is maybe draw up to discard. Okay, so the game is essentially locked out now. We've got the port to tap down their mana. Lotus Petals cost 1 extra and are countered. Dark Rituals cost 3 to start with, so are mana neutral. And we're going to find a smokestack and kill their 2 cards and kill them. So they're on 11, you see? So another fetch, and they're in lethal from these 2 lodestones. I think they're probably just waiting for us to kill them if we make a mistake, so the onus is on us to play carefully here. So this allows us to get a smokestack. Which we'll put on 1. It'll blow up land, blow up their land, it'll blow up their Tidespout, and then we will swing in for lethal, or put them onto 1. Which is near enough, I hope. Those could be famous last words. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we decide. Okay. So cards we want here: the ley lines, the bridge, the thorns, possibly the revokers if we can find things to take out. Cards we don't need so much of: crucibles, smokestacks, powder keg, and ratchet bombs. And maybe we want to keep in countering sorcery spells, or we want to keep them having to pay mana for their cards. It's a bit of a race, this game, really. Let's put these into the deck. So Thought Knot can be good sometimes. Leylines are obviously good. We definitely don't want these, and we definitely don't want these. We may want to keep 1 in over the that smokestack. or we may want to bring in a couple of Phyrexian Revokers to name Grizzlebrands, and also to put in off the Stronghold Gambit. That's the card I mentioned in the deck tech that I played against recently. Warping Whale countering a Reanimate is probably unlikely to happen. We're relying more on our 10 sphere effects and our ley lines to get there. So let's cut one more card. It's going to be Throne of the High City. We don't need to go that long. We may well cut a smokestack to play Crucible so we can do some Wasteland Recursion. That is a consideration. But I think we're going to survive on bridges and ley lines and hopefully not die to Stronghold Gambit. The Ratchet Bombs can be oddly good against things like Animate Dead, and I have got them up to the level to kill a Sire of Insanity when I blocked it, you know, nullified it with my low send of my own trade. So they're going first, and we have a turn 2 bridge and a turn 1 Revoker, so we'll be keeping this hand. They've kept 7, we're going to keep 7, and they're not revealing any Chancellors, which is always good for us. Question is, what happens on turn 1? Ah, just straight up Entomb. Probably for Grizzlebrand, I would have thought. Nope, Sire. Okay, so it's going to be a turn 1 Sire by the look of it. This is not the worst thing. We can survive this. We draw some lands and some spells to cast them. Okay, so there's our second bridge gone. And they have the Ashen Rider to blow stuff up as well. So you have to target a permanent. So our options to probably play around this were to mulligan to Leyline of the Void, but our hand was good enough, really, to beat anything other than a Sire, I think. It's a Lodestone. So we need to go land. I think this is it. I don't think we can beat them there. We've got 2 more turns, and we need 3 cards. Right, let's play the next game. So hopefully we can get a Chalice on turn 1 out, or a Sphere, or a Thorn. I think we're still keeping it as is. It's a fine hand. Fine way of beating them. Smokestack's not coming up. There we go. Bit of a feel bad playing against that Reanimator deck. It has its broken openings, but you don't get to do much interaction there. I mean, I'm fully aware that I'm saying that from a person who is trying to stop opponent playing any spells. So yeah, that's probably a bit ironic. So here we are. Yes, we would like to play fast. And this hand doesn't do anything, so I'm probably going to have to mulligan this. We've not got much going on here either. I think we'll have to keep this. And the wasteland can go on the bottom. And they're revealing a Chancellor, okay. So let's get the Mishra's Factory beatdown going. So what we need to miss here are things like Stronghold Gambit, and no doubt their enchantment and artifact destruction. Might see Wear Tear or Revenant Silence. Wear Tear's not great against us because we can keep them off the coloured mana, and Chalices and Spheres stop that. Revenant Silence is pretty good. That can destroy our lands quite easily. Okay, so who are they targeting? Me. So I'm going to lose my Tangle Wire. Let's get the beat down on. And then next turn we're going to play a Chalice for 1. Because we'd quite like to counter their Tear, which is a destroy target enchantment, which is a 1-mana white spell. I wonder if I can bring up Wear Tear for you here. If I have one in my... I don't have any in my collection. Obviously not been playing enough Miracles. So our opponent's in the tank here a bit. They're on 1 land, okay. It's good for us. So let's play this Temple. Chalice on 1 out there. Oh, cancel. So it wasn't taking me as a triggered thing rather than a part of the cost. So it could have been disastrous there if I'd pressed the wrong buttons and put 3 mana into my Chalice of the Void. So the clock should be reasonably fast. Another Unmask. Seeing our Ancient Tomb. And there's an Ensnaring Bridge. So we probably want to play this now and get in for some damage. So let's get in for 2 and then play the Ensnaring Bridge. Or do we think we've got them locked out? No, we can draw up to some mana. I think the bridge is what we need, so we don't die to gambits and things like that. Okay, so we let's hold fast behind our wall. Leyline, Chalice, and Bridge. Gets 2 cards in hand, and hopefully start swinging in. Yeah, let's keep that land in hand. Don't need it. We're probably going to play out any permanents we get, just in case Unmask and shenanigans like that happen. And we're going to want to wasteland things as well. So now our port is going to tap down their swamp. Keep them off casting anything. Sphere effect here would just seal the deal. So the clock is a 2-turn clock. Probably want to play the Wasteland because it's still 2 turns even if we attack for 6 next turn. So we want to be able to blow stuff up if we need to. There we go. That's we're now 3-1, which is good. So hopefully you'll come back for round 5, where we can hopefully make 4-1 and get some prizes. But we've made our money back with stacks, which is good. And you can see there kind of what happens when the opponent stumbles just a little bit, and we have the right stuff with our opening. We mulled to what, 5 there. That was a pretty good mull to 5 against Red Black Reanimator. Thanks a lot. See you back for round 5.